Hello everybody and welcome back to more of our player guide series. My name is Zen and I'm going to be walking you through another one of our intermediate guides. This time we're going to be talking about something that you typically wouldn't need a guide for, but it is something that kind of goes overlooked by a lot of people, and that is the idea of guilds. And I don't necessarily want to define what a guild is, because I really want to define what the concept of a guild is, because a guild isn't necessarily the same in every game, right? You don't necessarily call a guild in, FPS multiplayer games. Those are usually called clans. You have outfits and you have, teams. You just have so many things that is basically all the same idea. So what is the idea? It's a congregation of players that is usually the easiest way to find people to group with. And then from then on, you start diversifying what, each thing actually means. So different guilds will have different ideas and different concepts within them, and that's when everything starts branching out. But for the most part, the overarching concept is that it's just a congregation of players that make it easier for you to play the game. And in fact, guilds can be founded on a single idea and then grow with that, or they could be founded at nothing at all. They could just exist. So guilds themselves are a very amoebic creature. They tend to transform and change based on the people within them. I mean, in reality, the people who are within a guild or within a clan or whatever you want to call it are basically what defines that guild. And because guilds diversify so much, there's literally a guild for everyone, and I mean everyone. You just have to find the right one, right? You just have to find the one that fits you the most. Just, quick ones off the top of my head, there's PvP guilds, there's raid guilds, crafting guilds, social guilds, leveling guilds. There's guilds that focus on politics, there's guilds that focus on theological beliefs, there's even world region guilds, Asia, Europe, US, Canada, South America. There's guilds that are age restricted for people under 20 or over 40. It's just so many ideas there, and then there's combinations of them, and it's really an infinite web of things that a guild can be. But like I said, it's primarily defined by the people within it. And before we get too far into that discussion, what I need to say is that if you aren't in a guild, you need to find one. Like I said, there's a guild for everyone out there, so there's definitely a guild for you. Even if you hate being a social person, there's literally a guild for you out there. But you just really need to find one that is going not only to be interesting to you, but is also interested in you. And that's kind of a key thing that a lot of people miss. Guilds can just have a ton of people, but are they interested in whether or not you're actually there? That's something that is kind of a big deal for a lot of people, and then not a big deal for people at all. But for the most part, if you find a guild that's interested in having you there, you're going to have a lot better of a time, because when you play with a good guild, especially one that likes having you, then it will increase your enjoyment of the game tenfold. And if you aren't in a guild and you're looking for one actively, then I really want to encourage you to continue to do that, even if you haven't found the right one for you yet. Because if it wasn't for me back in the day, let's go all the way back, because this will literally change the way my future plays out, on this one decision. I had, when Warcraft came out, when World of Warcraft first launched, I had started a guild and I was leveling to level 60. My guild quickly grew because we kept recruiting a ton of people. We just wanted to have fun with a lot of people. We really wanted to enjoy the game with all of these new people in the game, especially because I had been playing beta, so I was able to help people out. If I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have gotten my name out there on the server as being this guild leader of a massive guild, and I was in high school, which is, pretty impressive, and I had a lot of respect back then from people. If I didn't get my name out there, I wouldn't have started raiding the second I hit 60, because I was this known figure on the server. As soon as I hit 60, someone asked me to go do Molten Core, so that's what I went and did. And if I hadn't started doing raiding at that point with that team, I wouldn't have fallen in love with raiding, which means I wouldn't have continued to play WoW, which means I wouldn't have met the people I did, and then that goes down the line to this channel would have never happened. And that's because OSWguild is our name of this channel, and it's a concept more than it is a name. The reason we founded this channel was because we had a group of people. You know, you can call it a guild, you can call it a clan, you can call it what you want. We just had a group of people that we really enjoyed playing games with, and that had been together for a couple years just gaming. We weren't just playing one game, we were playing, you know, a myriad of different games. And when Star Wars was coming out, that's when we decided to make the channel and start making videos, because it was something that I had fallen in love with because of the people that I was playing with. And I know that a lot of you guys may not necessarily be social. Some of you are young, some of you are very old, and we are very fortunate in our demographic on this channel to have a lot of everybody. You know, we don't just have a very young demographic, we have a pretty broad range. So I understand completely if you aren't necessarily wanting to be social with people, but maybe you're just afraid. You know, if you just don't want to be social, that's cool. You know, do what you want to do. I say that I think the game would be a lot more enjoyable if you had friends to enjoy it with, but if you know, don't want to do that, then, you know, that's your call. However, if you are just afraid of being social more than just not wanting to do it, then you really got to ask yourself, is it worth it to be afraid to be social, especially if you're a younger person? You know, it's not worth it at all. Take the time to really get comfortable with the idea that you're playing a game with other people that may be, you know, not necessarily the most social people either. So, you know, what are you going to do? Just group up with people and start having fun. Forget the idea that you're going to make a fool of yourself, because you probably will eventually, and there's really no way around that. I've embarrassed myself several times in front of our raid group, but you don't see me, you know, suddenly stopping and not playing with any of them. It's more of a, you know, part of being social. You gotta get used to it, but you gotta get over the fear of being social, and it gets easier once you start doing it more. And at the end of the day, we play games to have fun. And if you're playing a game to have fun, then it's better to have fun with other people. So I know I've ranted on long enough about you guys probably should join a guild, but seriously, you should join a guild if you're playing any type of multiplayer game at all. However, that's enough rambling on about all of the social stigma there. Let's start talking about the actual functionality of a guild within Star Wars. So you have the basic stuff, you have guild ranks. You can set guild ranks if you're a officer, or actually if you're the guild leader, and then you can set permissions within those guild ranks. So say you can set people to be able to access your guild bank or not. That's another thing. You can open up a guild bank, which is an easy way to be able to trade items within the guild. Then you can also set permissions within that for how many, you know, credits people could take out in a given week for certain ranks, which is, it's kind of nice to have the control there. Then you also have the message of the day, so you can set a message to pop up every time somebody logs into the game and is in your guild. So you can be like, hey, we're raiding this weekend, message me, or message, you know, so and so. You could be able to do that thing. So the message of the day is there basically to allow you to communicate with your members without always having to just send them direct messages. Then you have the experience and reputation gains based on how many active players you have in the guild, and they both cap at 10%. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, on an actual level of, you know, whether or not you should be in a guild outside of the social reasons, you have a gaming reason to be there. You're gaining more experience and more rep. And then you have the info tab, which usually guilds will put, you know, a short blurb about what the guild is about and their ideals in there. And then the more obvious thing for most people in guilds is knowing how to guild invite, because a lot of people just don't know, and it's the command is /G invite space the name of the person. And then if you're an officer in the guild, this is a little known one. If you do /O space, you will go into the officer chat, kind of like, you know, going into general chat or stuff like that. So people who have access as an officer within guild can chat amongst themselves if something needs to be talked about behind doors. And that's a good way to segue into me talking about leadership of a guild. If you're a guild leader or are an officer or are a leader of a raid team or just a leader in general, I won't be talking about it in this video, but I will have an advanced guide on leadership of how to be an effective leader and not totally step on people's toes, which should be really exciting for a lot of you who are interested in just leadership in general, which is pretty cool, or who may not be, but that will be in a future guide. However, if you are looking for a guild, you can easily join ours. We openly recruit anybody who wants to join, and you can just send me an in-game message, either a whisper or a mail, and I'll try to get you an invite whenever, but anybody in our guild can invite, so just send them a message if anyone is online. But if you do get into the guild and you're trying to talk to us, and we might be in the middle of raiding, we're not ignoring you, we're just busy, so keep that in mind with other people as well. There's many different groups within our guild, so if they don't reply to you right away, they're probably just busy. Most people in our guild are very friendly, though. There are other guilds out there on different servers that I know are really good to join, such as the SWTOR. I would highly suggest that if you're not on the Harbinger, which is where we're at. But with all of those ideas combined, I hope you guys are able to go out and find a guild that suits you the best and is able to enjoy you being there. And then I hope that you're able to find a group of friends to be able to enjoy the game with, because it makes a huge difference in the actual enjoyment of the game entirely, and of any game that is multiplayer as well. But with all that being said, we shall see you guys next time.